Welcome back to the Sip and Swish podcast. Here with Nick Reed, Lucas McLean. I'm Jason Stoltz.
We're back.
We're back.
Back at it again.
It has been way too long since our last podcast. Apologies to the fans, to the listeners. We had some travel schedule conflicts and kids and, but we're back to our regular weekly podcast, maybe with a few bonuses thrown in. We'll see, but we're not making promises because Nick and I tried to do that last time and
we failed.
Yeah, we failed on that promise.
2 podcasts a week and then we didn't do one for 10 days.
Yep, but back to consistency. So today we're going to look at what happened in round 1 in every series briefly. And then we're going to look ahead to these round 2 matchups. Let's start in the East. And let's start with probably the most intriguing. I'm going to take out the probably. It was the most intriguing round 1 series. The Cleveland Cavaliers defeating the Oladipo Pacers 4-3.
Hola, Oladipo.
Lucas, thoughts?
My first thought is that this beer that you chose is absolutely incredible. The Tangerine Hop-Nosh IPA is fantastic.
I wasn't lying.
No, you weren't. It's really good, and the design is really cool on the can too.
Well, thanks.
Episode sponsored by All Tangerine Beer. But I think all Pacers fans should be like ecstatic by this entire series. Sure, they lost, but they brought the best player in the world to 7 games,
and they could have won.
They could have easily won. And they had a net rating of plus 40 over the Cavs. Like, you outscore LeBron and you still lose, but I don't know.
Classic LeBron.
It's classic LeBron. I think the only thing that would be concerning for the Pacers side is Oladipo only showed up for like 3 games. And he showed up game 1, but he played well game 1. But then he showed up game 6 and 7 with his big performances. But like his first 5 games were just...
They kept declining because they were trapping him 40 feet away from the basket, right. And the Pacers just looked around and were like, I
don't know if this was a Ty Lue actually knowing how to coach thing, but he played like a weird junk defense where they literally did, as soon as he crossed half court, the 2 guards just gobbled up Oladipo. And nobody else on the court mattered but Oladipo with his 2 guards. It worked for a bit. I mean, he only averaged 31% from the field through those games. So, like, it worked for a bit until Oladipo finally figured out how to stop it. I don't know. As a Pacers fan, you should be happy. Cavs fan, you should be really, really, like, lucky. That's all you should feel is, wow, I just got really lucky.
I'm so happy I have LeBron.
Right, that's it.
I mean, he did the most amazing first 7 games where he just was LeBron James. And I mean, I had the series only going to 5. Like, I thought the Cavs were just going to dominate because I thought this was going to be the LeBron, but then I didn't.
I vaguely remember you saying Cavs are sweeping.
I said that could be a possibility.
I remember that. I was looking back on my previous predictions. This was the only game the only series I didn't write down when I thought it was going to end. But I think I said, like, don't count out LeBron. Part of me didn't think LeBron was going to lose this series.
I had Cavs in 6.
Cavs in 6,
so pretty close. But this series definitely reminded the entire league, all of its fans, LeBron James is number 1, and KD or whoever else you want to put as the second best player, it's not even close. No. Tell me, I mean, do you guys think that there's a single other superstar you could put with this trash Cavaliers team?
No.
And have them win that series?
No. I don't think there is.
It felt like it was 1-on-5 a majority of the time.
It was 1-on-5. He averaged 34 for the series, and the second best player, Kevin Love, only averaged 11. How does that happen?
You guys know I'm not like a LeBron fan. It almost pains me to sing his praises.
I was rooting for him last night. That's a weird feeling. I've never rooted for LeBron James.
For LeBron.
Yeah, you had money on the line. This was a pure fan. I have a shirt in which specifically says LeBron is a terrible person on it. And I was rooting for him. And it sucks because he's the ultimate underdog. I think it's the first time ever where LeBron is like...
It's been like a decade since LeBron's been
it was like 08
right.
was the last time when he played the Spurs for the first time in the finals. He was an underdog. But like, this is ultimate underdog. He's aging, but he's also the best player in the world. Best offensive season. He hit the game winner in Game 5.
Was that the like side fade 3-pointer?
Yeah, it was so
with
dirty.
the goaltend. Like,
The goaltend right before.
Yeah,
that they didn't call.
That changed the series. I mean, I will say, and mistakes happen, shit happens.
I
but,
will
like,
say this might have been one of the worst ref series I've seen. It like just it would get to the last 2 minutes. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Round 1 wasn't great for reffing.
No,
Like,
and people are like, why does everyone hate the refs? Here we go. This is blatant.
and it's weird because they can ref an entire game great, and it's that last 2 minutes.
Al Horford's jump shot
Oh God,
when the
that
shot
was
clock
so
expired and it
frustrating.
was still in his hands, and they're like,
Yeah,
well, we can't review that. And I was like, just look at it and be like, oh, well, the rest of this doesn't matter. Like, come on, NBA.
right.
I don't want to nitpick too much. There needs to be a human element, but 2 minutes left in a game, Al Horford takes a shot like a second and a half after the shot clock expires. I think we can all agree that's going to be an okay thing to fix.
we can
Right.
do better.
We can do better than that. Come on.
But yeah, quickly back to that LeBron shot. I mean, in real time, I was watching it in Charleston on a rooftop bar with my brother, and just like both of us just freaking out. And it immediately evoked that Jordan shot, which come to find out it did for like everyone else. And like ESPN
Everybody.
was kind of talking about him, comparing him. But that was, it's hard to say because he's won NBA Finals and he's been to so many. I still don't care. That was a big time playoff moment. That's like a signature LeBron moment to me.
Yeah, that whole series was pretty signature too. Like,
I think that shot, and then if he had hit the shot last night in the Toronto game, which we'll get to, like this first round this first like series for LeBron would just be, it's incredible. How is he doing this in year 15
I have
with
no
George
idea.
Hill?
he drops 45 in Game 7. I don't know.
He played the first 30. It was like 36 minutes straight or 35 minutes.
Yeah,
straight
he
or something.
sat.
The
He sat the
two.
last 2 minutes of the third, and then got right back into it in the fourth quarter.
I
It was
almost cringed.
He's not even human.
Oh, I was going to start talking about last night's game. Should we move on to a different first round series?
Yeah, 'cause
So
we'll get back
we'll
to
do another
LeBron.
recap.
All right. Let's go with the Boston Celtics, another 7-game series defeating the Milwaukee Bucks.
God, I hate the Bucks.
They're the worst run team ever. I watched so many of these games. I think Chris Middleton was the Chris Middleton was the best player on the Bucks that entire series.
He
he
just-
was
wow.
unstoppable.
He was so good.
It wasn't even funny. Like, anytime he got the ball, it was just going in. What did he shoot? He shot 60% from the field, 61% from three, and he averaged 25 points a game. He was-
In the last game, in Game 7, he got 32 points, shooting 18 for 11 or 11 for 18.
in that last game, too,
That
he was
was
the
really good.
only person that was actually aggressive. It was, you give Middleton the ball, and it doesn't matter who's on him. He jacked up a three, and it just went in. It was so freaking magical. I don't understand it. Like, the only thing I was thinking was, every time he post up, I was like, oh my God, let's go, Kobe. Let's go. Like, it really was. He'd do a pump, and two guys bid on it, and they just get a layup. He's so good in the post. My takeaway for this whole series was Chris Middleton was incredible. Giannis is not remotely aggressive enough.
He's not there yet.
He's not.
He's
there
like
yet,
a year
but
to
makes-
2 years away.
which makes me so
Like,
frustrated.
A year to
because
2 off seasons away from being.
he can't do anything off ball. I think that's just.
I
that
just
should
think
be
it's
a well-known thing
this
now.
team. You like Thon Maker's over there just jacking up threes because they gave him confidence. In one game, he hit like 2 or 3 threes, and then he's like, "Oh no, I'm good at this." And we're like, "No, Thon, stop it."
So Giannis has been on the team for 4 years, and they still can't get him a center. I think that should be a red flag because he can't play the five.
Al Horford was eating him. alive.
There's death lineups where you can run Giannis, but
They can do it in spurts.
Al Horford, when you have a skilled big out there, it's impossible.
I mean,
Al
Al
Horford murdered him. all
Al
the way.
Horford was probably the best player in the entire series. He just was doing everything, hitting threes at a stupid percentage. Every
Yeah,
time I was like,
there was-
"Oh, let him take that," and then he just swishes it. I'm like,
I think between the defensive prowess, within just the personnel of the Celtics combined with the genius that is Brad Stevens,
"Yeah,
I think that has more to do with Giannis's lack of effectiveness than like Giannis not showing up or anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't think that the Giannis was probably that different than he was in the regular season.
there was a few games where he just was non-existent. He just would stand out at the 3-point line where you just need him driving.
I think it was Game 7 for sure. Really,
There was a while in Game 7 where it's just like Giannis.
I was like, you
dude,
have to drive. You have to get in the paint. You can't.
he drives, he posts up, and he does that little like kind of post fade away, like step back fade away. And Giannis doesn't have a great jump shot, but that thing's silky smooth.
So you guys think he played differently more so than the Celtics forced his hand to play differently?
Well, I think they needed to take a game out of in Boston like earlier. Boston's such a hard arena to win in.
Yes.
apparently
Like
Apparently
it's one of
incredibly
the better home court advantages in the league because you're rocking Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown only played 16 minutes in Game 7.
Yeah, he had that hamstring.
Yeah, so let's talk about those guys. They're fantastic. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Scary Terry.
Jason Tatum is like the next coming. Like, I am so ready for Jason Tatum to turn like 24 and be like top 5 small forward in the league. Like, his jump shot is so dirty and he can do any fadeaway. Scary Terry, I just
It's the system.
Scary Terry was the system, and he's also better than Bledsoe. Bledsoe got like incredibly embarrassed. Drew Bledsoe got totally embarrassed.
I hate Drew Bledsoe right now.
I think the role players on Boston just like destroyed all the role players on
Milwaukee.
Wait,
Which could have been so easily foreseen.
Well,
Of
you're
course.
telling me playing Jason Terry 20 minutes in Game 7 in Boston is a dumb idea?
I'm telling you, playing an injured Malcolm Brogdon was a terrible idea. I have all caps.
I'm verifying it. It's all caps, yeah.
It says never run a Brogdon Maker pick and roll ever again. They ran it 3 times in a row, and I wanted to die. I was yelling at the screen. I had Nick and I had my buddy Dave just constantly saying, like, what's wrong? Like, it's okay. It's just a play. And I'm like, no, it's the worst designed play ever.
Well, Thon Maker can do it's the system where the Bucks at home, like their bench players are okay, and then they go on the road and they forget how to play basketball. Because I was saying the whole series, like, Brogdon needs to start because he's a little more size than Bledsoe, because Bledsoe just apparently can't play basketball.
You would only play Brogdon to play defense on Scary Terry because he shot 26% from 3. Like, he was not a threat. He only averaged 9 points. Like, I really just can't go. I can't wrap my head anywhere else around this pick and roll with Thon Maker. Like, why would you run a pick and roll with a guy who's 7'1", but he's like 7'1's fine, but he's also like 200 pounds. Like, he's a tiny little skinny twig.
Waif.
Yes, and he can't roll. You can't roll Thon Maker to the hoop, so he's constantly popping, and Thon Maker can't hit
I found out
threes.
it's Maker.
Maker?
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Maker. He doesn't deserve his name said right.
I found that out the other day. I was like,
Harsh words.
He's also 28.
He's 42. He invented basketball, according to Bleacher Report. Did you watch that Game of Zones yet?
No.
Oh, yeah.
So fun.
The newer one is like Thon Maker invented basketball.
He's so old.
Because he's so old. I mean, the Bucks roster is just garbage. Outside of Giannis, Middleton, and sometimes Jabari. Jabari started showing flashes. I think the first 4 games I was like, Jabari's not getting paid. And then he started realizing, like, hey, I need to show up. I need to do something. And I was like, okay, this is Jabari we want.
I'm surprised it went to 7. I really am.
I guess the biggest takeaway would be Giannis and Middleton actually were more skilled than the entire.
Well, that's the thing.
Were more skilled than the Celtics, so they brought them to 7 just with Middleton and Giannis.
That's what I remember when we started the pre-playoff podcast. I was like, this is going to 7, and I thought the Bucks.
Didn't you take the Bucks though?
I took the Bucks in 7 just off of Giannis and Middleton. I thought they have the more skilled players. They'll get to Game 7, but
Lucas, you and I took Celtics in 6, right?
Yeah,
I think that's better.
yeah, I think we won.
Yeah.
You picked
but I got the right number of games. So you guys are both wrong.
The next most competitive series in the East was the Toronto Raptors defeating the Washington Wizards 4-2 in what I found to be
Sad.
completely just boring. I don't like how either of these teams play. I don't know. I really had a hard time watching these games.
The thing is, I don't understand because the Wizards don't have this amazing home court advantage like You go to DC and the Capital One Arena is the best thing ever. The crowd's so loud. They win at home. They go to Toronto and they just get
They got
throttled because Toronto actually has a home court advantage. Well, apparently not last night, but I didn't even think this game would go, or this series would go to 6.
The impact of Drake.
Drake is the best.
I unfortunately had to watch too much of the series, and I don't think there were any good players. Like, no one actually performed except 4 people. Like, Lowry did his season average, which I guess is okay because you expect Lowry to fall off in the playoffs for whatever reason. DeMar showed up. He averaged 27 in the series. John Wall went off. He was incredible. Embiid did great. But every other player in the series was garbage.
The thing is, though, like the way John Wall plays, and this is why I think they need a big, he can't, like, not have the ball in his hand. Like, Bradley Beal can move. He can make position. John Wall can't shoot.
He can't spot up.
He can't just spot up shoot. Like, maybe once in a while he hits one, but...
I mean, he at least had a game or two where he was really inefficient, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the last game he shot 9 for 22.
I mean, for the entire series, he only shot 19% from 3. So
Yeah.
he needs to work on that 3-point jumper. And I don't know if it's like, I hate to say it's too late in his career to learn or develop an elite. Like, can he go from 25 to 40% in the next 3 years?
I don't think so. I just think his shot is the way it is.
And
Like,
I feel like
he's releasing when he's already, like, coming down from the shot.
you've already
It's just-
developed like the fundamentals of whatever your shot is, like 10 years into playing basketball.
Right. He's not like a big that all of a sudden is deciding, okay, the league has changed. I need to learn how to shoot 3-pointers. That's different. That's basically like blank canvas.
Yeah.
I'm really working on this type of shot for the first time. Like
Exactly.
Wall has shot 3-pointers his whole life.
He's been a guard his whole life. He should know how to shoot threes.
But he's also been, like, the fastest player on the court
even I
his
feel like
entire life.
his jump mechanic is fine for like I guess like a mid-ranger or like an escape shot, but if his whole career is just tailored around driving, it's gonna fail him soon.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't
And
really.
athleticism.
He doesn't move off the ball. He's not slashing. He's not trying to get to the basket. He's just standing in the corner. It's like Westbrook-esque. Just hide over there, I guess, because
The whole Thunder team just hide.
yeah, we'll get to that series because I know Jason loved that series. But I mean, Ty Lawson's playing 20. They pulled Ty Lawson from China in 26 hours to play in for the Washington
Yeah, that
Wizards.
That was one of my favorite stories, though.
It's like, hey, Ty, come on over. We're gonna play you. It's like, wait, what? Ty Lawson playing in China? He can like be in the United States? I don't even know.
He was more surprised than anyone.
He was because they had that Sadaransky that they had played all season, and then they just kind of were like, we're not gonna play you.
I kind of though think that the Raptors in a way got lucky, not just with this matchup, but they shot over 40% from 3 the whole team for the series on like 28 attempts a game, which is like that's just
So,
elite.
I think the last game was their worst one too. They only shot 7 for 25.
But isn't that kind of lucky though? Like you can't expect your entire team to shoot at an elite level from 3 for an entire 7-game stretch, and they did against a team that was like they were like top 10 in 3-point defense the whole season. So it was like they caught the Wizards at a bad time because Otto went down.
Yeah,
And then
Otto was hurt. Like
For
going
whatever
into the
reason,
season.
the Wizards just fell apart defending the 3-ball because maybe they just thought the Raptors couldn't shoot the 3-ball so much, or they just I don't know. They just
Otto getting
covered off
hurt
them.
going into that. Like he was hurt, and then when he finally was like, I can't play anymore, like getting
Right.
surgery, that really hurt. A healthy Otto, they would have won 7.
Agreed.
The Wizards would have won Game 6, and they would have won.
That
7.
whole team needs to be like rebooted.
But isn't like the number 1 seed in the East had to go to 6 games against the 8th seed Wizards?
Yeah, no. That's
And
why I'm saying,
I've been
like,
high on the Raptors, and we'll get to that game last night, which I keep wanting to talk about because
we got a few more recaps to go.
how are you guys this bad?
Yeah, we need to go through these recaps faster so we can get to this game.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got.
Didn't
to this.
Dwayne Casey, like, he kept making excuses for his team by saying,
I just don't think they have the killer instinct.
They have to. They have to make as many excuses as they can, or else they can't accept the reality they're not a great
he
team.
kept basically saying, maybe not even basically, like, the Wizards aren't a real 8 seed. Like, everyone knows they're not like a real 8 seed.
But they are because I mean they lost John Wall, whatever. But
They are.
Are you
You're
guys
the
a
one
real?
seed.
Are you guys a
You're
real
the one seed.
seed?
You shouldn't. If you're a real 1 seed, you should be able to sweep whatever team.
Or even go to 5? Like look at the Rockets.
Gentlemen sweep.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of, my Philadelphia 76ers.
Good
taking it to the Heat. Won the series 4-1. Man,
It was a good
I
series.
had so much fun. I had so much fun watching this because a lot of the games, basically through halftime or
Were close.
through like some of them even through like the third quarter, were really highly contested. Like I have no idea who's gonna win, and then the Sixers would just blow it the fuck open.
Yeah, but the third and the fourth quarter, the Sixers like, all right, we need to start going. We need to start running. And I thought it was really good the first two games. I mean, they lost game 2, but that was Dwayne Wade. Like,
Yeah.
there was nothing you could stop Dwayne Wade shooting. Was it like 7 for 8?
Something dumb
Just-
like that. He went vintage D-Wade for a moment.
He was fading away from every single angle on the court, and I was just like, that's not going in. And then it was just like swish, swish, and I was like, oh, this is bad.
That was the last little bit of energy in his star, just exploding in the sky.
Yeah, this was definitely the
See you later,
series I
Dwayne Wade.
watched the least.
Really?
But
I think I watched the most of this series.
you know, I definitely watched the
Obviously.
Bucks the most. I watched the Pacers probably second most. But like, I just thought this was going to be a blowout throughout. But what I did watch was like how kind of dirty the Heat were.
Yeah,
Oh,
They're
well,
really dirty.
They wanted to play the game where like they want to get the Sixers pissed off because
They wanted-
their mentality was Simmons, Embiid, first time there, they're young. Like let's just piss them off. Let's see if we can ruffle their feathers.
It didn't
I mean, you
work.
got Bellinelli, who's seasoned veteran. He's been in the league a while. He's won a championship.
Right.
JJ's been in the playoffs every single year of his career. Even like
Ilyasova's
Ilyasova's been there. He's once or twice, but
Man, it just felt like Miami had no hope, especially since it wasn't just that they weren't to the level of the Sixers or even close, but they also had like internal struggles. Like Hassan Whiteside got benched.
And Spoelstra's talking crap to him after the series. Like Hassan came into the
Pat
play.
Riley too.
Yeah,
Well, Pat Riley was like, we need to mend this because they're paying him was 20 like
There's no one in the league that wants to take on that contract. It's like $26 million a year for Hassan Whiteside for the next 3 years. That's an absurd contract for a guy that played 15 minutes a night, averaged 5 points and 6 boards in the series.
like I don't even know. Like, would you trade a Lou Deng for a Hassan Whiteside? Like, which one's more useless?
Luol Deng.
well dang. Yeah,
I mean, the only
Pat Riley, call him up.
if you were desperate, the Bucks would do it.
I don't think they would.
I think they would because they're not very smart.
No, but I don't think they have anything to give back.
I don't think either. I think it would be like the Heat don't want him. It would be like a Dwight Howard. It'd be like how the Hawks trade Dwight to the Hornets for nothing, basically for like garbage contracts.
And then Dwight was like, "Hey, like, look, I can put up double doubles every game."
Right. So it'd be like Hassan goes to the Bucks and the Heat take on like John Henson and Deldova. And everyone's like, why would you do that? And then the Heat like
Turn.
go on another, get the 8th seed again. They're like, yeah, but we're happy now.
We don't.
So
have this
one
game.
thing that I thought was really interesting about this series was the return of Joel Embiid and how that changed like the dynamic of how the Sixers played. So I was super stoked after the Game 2 loss because I was like, you know what, we kind of need
Embiid.
yeah, and more than anything, we just need the momentum of him coming back. And then pretty much I didn't love how he impacted the way the ball moved.
Oh, okay.
I think Embiid right now, just only right now, I love Embiid. I'm so happy we have him, obviously. But at his current stage of development, I think he's better suited to be the best player on a bad team than he is to be the best player or maybe, tied for best player on a really good team.
Wow.
He doesn't kind of know how to play offense, to tell you the truth. Like, he can get a shot off, sure, but he just doesn't understand
I see
sometimes
what-
there are so many more efficient shots, and there's so many, like, the way we play without Embiid
it's much
is-
more fluid and there's a lot more passing.
crisp, so nice.
I see what you're saying because Embiid. There's a few possessions where Embiid gets the ball at the 3-point line. I'm like, okay, I know he can shoot a three.
But don't.
Like, don't like try to pull some Kobe dribble moves, some like James Harden. Kind of get in the post. You're going up against Hassan Whiteside, who's literally averaging like 5 fouls a game in 10 minutes. Get him out of the game, and then you're up against like James Johnson.
Is
The
it kind of like
Bam
the Shaq
Adebayo?
thing? He's just physically like just so much bigger than any defender that he doesn't really have to use skill or think about anything. He's just like, all right, I'm just gonna put it in the hoop.
Maybe. I mean, I really think his basketball IQ needs to take a step up. He's amazing on defense.
He needs the experience. I think this is like, since this is your like first playoff run, like this is where he needs to get it.
Did we forecast this like months ago when we said like which player on the Sixers was better, Simmons or Embiid? I think we all said it's Simmons too. And it was kind of like an iffy territory because Embiid was like
take Simmons,
clearly putting up better numbers, but Simmons was like playing with the team better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're geniuses. I've known that.
Well, enough back patting. On to the Western Conference. Let's go most surprising. Most surprising thing of the entire first round. New Orleans Pelicans sweeping Knicks. Portland Trailblazers.
I'm so
Lillard for MVP.
bamboozled.
Yes. I'm glad you said it.
Okay.
Lillard MVP over AD.
No, I didn't say over AD, but I said Lillard. They were having an amazing season, but it just showed up like as the Raptors were a few years ago, like 2015, when it was just like Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan pick and rolls. That's all the Trailblazers did. And you have Drew Holiday and Rajon Playoff Rondo, who's the best player in the league in the playoffs. Like we've all agreed. Jason agrees all the time. But it was just sad.
My silence is not. It's not an agreement.
I remember at one point, I think it was game 2 or 3, and second or third quarter, and the Trailblazers were just running, they're passing, shots were going off, making them fluid. I was like, this is the Trailblazers team that could win this. And then they lose the game, and I'm like, it gets to the fourth quarter, and you guys just like give Dame the ball. He runs a pick and roll, and there's Drew Holiday, who's just this monster on defense right now.
Yeah, he's huge.
He's a fantastic series. And just Damian goes, I've never seen this before. I've never gotten
It was so frustrating to listen to that.
like you've played basketball your entire life. You've never gotten defended? Like, is this what you're telling me? You've never learned to like, hey, there's a guy open.
So when we forecasted these series, we all chose key players and best players. And now I said key player for this was Dame, and that in order for the Trailblazers to win the series, Dame was going to have to be the best player on the court.
And he was not even close.
He wasn't the second best player.
He
that was
probably
Drew
wasn't
Holiday.
even top 5.
Yeah, I don't
It
know.
was Anthony Davis, Drew Holiday. Even like CJ was having good games.
CJ actually had a good series. Like he shot 52% from the field and he averaged 25 a night. Like
I'll take that any day.
Yeah.
any day, if that's your second guy, that's
Like
really
in
fine.
one of the games, CJ was like had 18. And I was like, all right, what's Dame doing? And I was like, oh, Dame's like 3 for 12.
Well, when Gentry said the same, Gentry did the same thing that Ty Lue did. They both played junk D. That was when I had that quote down too. No team has ever played me like that before.
All caps.
No, not in caps, but I had in quotes.
Oh, that's just not as good.
Lucas hand wrote italics, which is tough.
That's tough. Like he laid on this side and was like, all right, there we go.
He got real drunk and then just tried to write straight.
But yeah, so like, how has Lillard never experienced a double team in his life? Like, how is that like? I'm going to the playoff series where I think I'm the best player in the series, except I don't expect to be double teamed. What kind of ego is that? Or what kind of like?
And it was every single time. Like you should have figured it out after game 1.
It should have been like.
But the thing
it's
is,
a very simple formula. There's one good player on every team. Let everybody else beat you. They let CJ McCollum beat them because he beat them.
It's almost like the Heat did when they played the Thunder. Like, all right, Durant and Westbrook are going to get 70 points, but if James Harden gets 25, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Dallas did the same thing in 2011. They just said, all right, we're going to play zone, but we're going to play a junk zone, and then only cover LeBron. Have everybody else beat us.
And they couldn't.
And they couldn't. You just double team the best player. It's perfect.
It was really sad, but I kind of loved it at the same time. Because I was going into the series like, I really don't care who wins this, because if Anthony Davis goes into the second round against the Warriors, that could be really fun.
Yep.
And so far, it hasn't been amazing. Last night was better. But Drew Holiday I forgot that he's such a big boy.
He's actually like everyone says like Kyle Lowry is actually like a massive point guard because he is. But like Drew Holiday is just as big, but he has more muscle. It's not like Kyle Lowry.
And he's taller too.
He's
taller.
I think he's like almost 6'5", like 6'4", 6'5".
I think he's 6'4". Like
Yeah,
he's
Lowry's like 6'6'1".
Yeah, like Drew is a huge point
There was
guard.
the one play that, they replayed on ESPN and everything where Drew gets the ball, he's dribbling in, and Dame's on his back, and Drew's just like holding him on his back. Like Dame's trying to get around him, and he's just like, no. And he's in the paint. Like there's people around him, and he's just like, you're not getting around me. And I'm like, this is the team the Pelicans need. And this goes back to the Boogie. Everyone's like, oh, just sign Boogie because you guys are better with Boogie. I'm like, are you? Are you actually better with Boogie? Or should you just sign LeBron?
That's not like an option. You can't just choose between LeBron or Boogie and be like, yeah, we're getting LeBron today.
I think you can.
That's not. Nah, it can't be.
Just trade Solomon Hill. Just get him out of there. Get him off the books.
For LeBron, straight up.
Who says no? The Cavs don't say no.
Who says?
I think it was a great series. The
That was a lot of fun.
Pelicans needed this, and it really solidifies Anthony Davis as a top 5 player.
I was going to say, in the same way as Cleveland series reminded everyone LeBron is number one, hands down.
LeBron is the best.
This series reminded everyone that might have forgotten Anthony Davis is a bad mother.
Really, he really is.
OKC, my Thunder.
This series, because we all had OKC winning, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had him
in
at
7.
I think I said 6.
I think I wrote
said
down
7.
5.
You wrote 5.
Yeah, I really had hope.
I mean, I definitely
That
was
a
like
mistake.
underestimating Donovan. Goddamn,
I didn't think he would be this good in the playoffs.
he was amazing.
Better
What do
in
you
the
average?
playoffs than he was in the regular season.
I think everyone needs to stop worrying about rookies in the playoffs.
maybe.
I'm
Or-
done with that
or-
narrative.
I can't remember the last time.
So
that
Jason-
it's always like you don't have experience, so you wouldn't do well in the playoffs. But when was the last time a rookie did so bad? That, like it doesn't. I can't think of it.
Well,
Off
I
the
think
top of my head.
I think
Right.
the only thing is like, so Jason Tatum's had a good first series.
Yes.
He had a good first, but Donovan Mitchell averaged like 28 points with 8 rebounds, couple assists. I think he had like a steal a game
yeah.
while shooting really efficiently against the Thunder. But I found it interesting. Westbrook wasn't guarding Donovan, and like Paul George couldn't stop Donovan Mitchell. And this leads into the point: is Paul George as good as everyone's saying? I've had my doubts of Paul George. Like, the Lakers are going to get Paul George. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like, he's not number 1. He's not number 2. I think he's like your 3rd best player on a team
on a championship caliber.
On a championship caliber team, he's the 3rd best player. See, Westbrook 1, Carmelo Anthony obviously 2 because he was fantastic this series. Like he shot lights out when the wide open. He was so good. Oh no, just kidding.
I'm seriously looking at Nick like, did I miss this
It was not the
somehow?
series I watched.
Carmelo Anthony was the worst player in the entire series. And when they came back 25 down, which caused Lucas and I to win a 7-game parlay.
Dude, felicidades, as our south of the border friends say. Which means congratulations.
That was without a doubt, because I texted him like, we lost all 4 of our 7-game parlays because we picked the safer,
Right.
we picked the favorites. And the Thunder just decided, we're going to go on a 25-point run.
Russell Westbrook decided.
Well, but who wasn't on the floor the entire
Hello.
run? Carmelo Anthony. $28 million worth of him was sitting on his bench.
Dude, come to find out, everything the Thunder did in the offseason that was lauded by myself as well was trash.
I wouldn't say everything was trash. The Paul George signing was good.
I think-
Oladipo wouldn't.
Why was the Paul George signing good?
I think he was. I think if they had Roberson and they had Paul George, their defense on the wings would be fantastic.
I think if you start this season over, like knowing
You do
what
that
you
Paul
know
George
now,
trade
I
100 times out of
think
100
you do
times.
it again because I think as a Thunder GM, an owner, and everybody, you don't expect Oladipo to actually transform his body again. Like he transformed every part of his
I
game
think-
going into the Pacers.
Even if he did that, I don't think he'd be as well of a fit next to Westbrook.
I think Paul George was a fine trade.
The Paul George
for
trade,
a ton of reasons. The Melo trade was awful because I feel like I'd rather have Enes Kanter.
I don't know if I'd rather have Enes Kanter, but a Doug McDermott doing some kind of shooting.
Yeah, but Doug wasn't that great. Like he was a.
Who would you rather have? Someone shooting 30% or Carmelo shooting 0%?
I mean,
Because
Melo,
I honestly don't know if he
I
made
just
a
wouldn't
shot
want
this
Melo
entire
just because of
series.
the money. I think the biggest thing was Melo's exit interview after the series.
When he's like, I'm not coming off the bench.
He said, I won't come off the bench, but the Thunder didn't have a plan for me when they traded for me. I thought they had a plan in place for me. And I was like,
Yeah,
But
the
I don't
plan
think-
was for you to make some goddamn shots.
but like
That's all we ask for.
their plan was for him to
I
be a
appreciate your
spot up
indignation.
shooter and to be like this clutch like veteran who has been there, done that.
Get the ball, get in the post, shoot,
be the guy.
do it.
Be the guy
do it.
when Westbrook can't be. But Melo isn't physically capable of being
I
Nuggets
think
Melo anymore.
this is-
Or better yet, Team USA Melo, which is
that's
really
what we wanted.
the Thunder thought they were getting.
I think Melo came in very out of shape. I don't think he was ready to play an entire season.
You mean all those hype videos, Hoodie Melo? Do
He's never been a
Could-
workout warrior.
Yeah, he's never been a workout warrior. He's always been a chubby little.
you remember over the offseason when all those Knicks executives and coaches were laughing at the videos of Melo jogging on a football field? Those are the funniest videos ever because everyone ragged him like, "Oh, screw the Knicks! Like they're being such dicks to Melo. Like he's done everything for them." And
Melo
come to
did-
find out, like those coaches and executives were probably thinking like, "He's never worked out a day ever. He's just gotten buckets, shooting 42%, and we pay him like $28 million a year. Like this is the first time he's ever jogged in his life."
Is it funny that the Knicks turned Carmelo Anthony into like Emmanuel Mudiay and Enes Kanter, and it looks better than Melo on that team?
Makes me sad.
It makes me sad, but
Yeah,
I
like Melo. I liked earlier in his career Melo.
when he signed that contract, I knew it was an overpay. I said, "There's no way Melo is keeping up what he's doing because he wasn't doing anything in New York. They made 2 playoffs?
I still think because he was
And
in
you
the
could-
East, because that
He's in the-
conference was terrible. The seasons though that he was doing well, that 8th seed was so far below 500.
He
Do you
took him to
remember
the
that?
second round once.
Brought in the second round, but like you could have built a team though with Melo.
Give him
And
$30
they
million,
refused
let's
to.
go.
They
Second
surrounded
round.
him. Tyson Chandler was probably his best player ever in New York,
And he was
'Cause-
past his prime.
and he was
He was
I
at
think
the tail end.
He was in the tail end. He won Defensive Player of the Year and then started dropping. But
he
like
went to Phoenix
Stoudemire wasn't great. He was constantly injured. J.R. Smith's a crack.
Stoudemire
addict.
was better before
Like,
Melo even got there.
I think you should take that back.
And then, well, the best point they got
Is
to.
alcoholic okay?
I'm going to take it back. Yeah, J.R. Smith is not a crack addict.
Well, that's what I mean. The best point,
Not
like
literally.
Jr. loved New York and Iman loved New York, and
Iman, oh god.
but they Shumpert. Remember, it was the first round against the Heat when he blew his like ACL, MCL,
It was over. That's
Every
what it was
CL.
whole-
every CL in that playoff game when he was. It was in the
Every
wide
ligament.
wide open court, and he just went down, and we're just like, well, that's his like career now. He's in Sacramento or wherever, and just no one cares about him.
No.
But I mean, the Knicks have a huge problem with just their owner.
Can I pose one question to you guys before we move on from the series?
Yeah.
Right now, today, who is the better player? Donovan Mitchell, Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook.
Would you mean build a team around, or who would I rather have on my team?
Who would you rather have on your team that's making a run at this very moment?
Westbrook.
Donovan Mitchell.
I say Donovan Mitchell too.
Westbrook-
my brother
West-
and I almost got into like a late night fist fight over this topic.
Okay, so the thing is, we've seen enough evidence of Westbrook not helping.
I've
Being
seen
a
a
hindrance.
lot of evidence of the Thunder general management being
But is
terrible.
is it just them?
and coaching. Their
And
coaching's
coaching
terrible,
has
too.
been terrible.
Can you coach Westbrook?
I don't know, but I don't
think you can.
But I don't think Westbrook, like, I'm not 100% sold on Westbrook isn't a winner.
No, I'm not sold on
Because-
that either at all.
But-
I
okay,
think
okay, so
Westbrook,
can
when he
you-
took 20 plus shots in the series, Thunder went 2-1. And that one game that they lost was really close. It was like a 4-point difference.
Well,
The
he
thing
shot, 46 times that game?
No, well, the last two games, yeah, he shot 40. The last game he shot 45 times, and they not the game before when they had the 20-point comeback, 25-point comeback. He shot 46 times. Those games are incredible. The last two games of the series, he averaged 46 points a game. There's something about this guy when watching that comeback. It was incredible. It was seeing like this god tier basketball player just say, "I'm going to carry these lifeless."
So he
Terrible
shot
humans.
He
to a
shot 43
victory.
times in Game 6 when they lost. He scored 46 points.
That still could be efficient. It's not like
He had 5 assists.
It's not awful.
it's not awful.
I mean, his team together shot 40%.
Paul George went 2 for 18,
2 for 16.
2 for 16. Numbers.
Paul George was awful, and that's what I mean. Like, Paul George's offense is so inconsistent. Carmelo's over there 3 for 7,
Could you imagine if Paul George just played like a competent?
but
human being
it's
for
at the
one
point
game?
where Westbrook can't really play off the ball. He's not a great 3-point shooter. Like, he had the
Both of
game.
those are true.
He had shot 7 for 19 good. Like, that happens, but also Rubio went down that game. Correct?
I think Westbrook right now is very similar to prime D Rose.
so. Rubio went down with 7 minutes played. If
Yeah.
Rubio played, I don't think Westbrook gets as many threes that
I don't know.
game.
He played really good D. I mean, that whole series, Westbrook was below 27 points per game. But I don't know. Rubio was great. Paul George is leaving. He had that big butt. I'd love to be on the Thunder, but Paul George is
I think-
gone.
I
And
think-
as a Thunder fan, I have no problem with that. He's a glorified 3-and-D guy.
I think he's gone because I think the Thunder GM, if they are competent, they'll,
You know the
they'll
best
force
player.
Melo out.
You know where he's going?
Lakers. Have fun.
Sixers.
No, don't say it.
He's
Well,
gonna he's gonna replace Robert Covington.
no,
Well,
he
okay,
replaced,
then he's a better 3-and-D guy. I'll take that.
he replaced JJ Redick.
no,
See,
it would be
yeah.
Covington.
Why?
Because
JJ Redick's
look at
expired.
Covington.
They just paid Covington $18 million a year for the next 4 years.
so they're gonna sign and trade him.
No way. I bet it's more likely that they get rid of JJ Redick, get Paul George, and they have the tallest lineup in the history of basketball.
Yeah, but
with
you're going-
everybody
okay,
being
J-
6'8" or taller.
We'll get
No
to that point,
spacing.
but like JJ Redick can hit shots. Covington has shown already in 2 to 3 games. Or
Yeah, I don't know.
Where
I don't
are you,
know. I don't
Covington?
know why they paid Covington.
Yeah, I've been saving my Covington thoughts for when we talk about the current series. But I will just say, anyone that says Donovan Mitchell is an emerging star,
Oh, he is.
no,
for sure.
he's not emerging.
He's a star.
He's a star.
He's a star.
Yeah,
he
he is.
is a boss, dude. And I love his game. I love his swag.
I like how he smiles. Like there's some
He's happy.
egotistical NBA players that don't embrace how lucky they are to be where they are. And Donovan Mitchell's so like low to earth, and he's just like, I'm having fun. This is something I enjoy, and
He
for
went
whatever
from
reason, I'm
he was
gifted to
worried
be an
about
NBA
not
player.
being drafted, and now
Yeah.
he's in the second round against the best team in, the best winning team in the regular season. Not the best team in the league for sure, the Rockets. But that's impressive. He led that series hard.
He averaged 29 points per game. He killed it.
So whether or not, yeah, I mean, I think we would all agree, whether or not we're going to say he's the best player today in that series, he was the best player in that series. Donovan Mitchell
played, yeah.
was the best player. All right, we need to gloss over these
These last two.
very, very quickly.
Rockets won.
Rockets.
Yeah,
won.
Rockets
They
won.
screwed me in
Carl
game.
Anthony Towns looked like trash.
He got a little. Game 3 really made me sad because I put more money than I'm comfortable on, and I lost, which I didn't think was going to happen because this Rockets team should be able to sweep the Timberwolves. I mean, the Timberwolves are good.
You know, Harden was actually bad for like 2
Harden's bad for 2 games.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's
Really
bad
bad.
for a game. It scares me, but it's something that they will live through it. They have the number ones. They have the home court throughout the series.
That's
That's
right.
that's what they're gonna live. They're gonna live with a game or 2 loss. Like they don't want to sweep people, but they'll win in 5. They'll win in 6.
Did the
They
series
have to.
make you guys feel any differently than you did prior to it
Slightly.
about Cat?
only
About Cat,
about
yeah,
Cat.
yeah.
I thought more about Thibs. Like, put that man in the post.
I don't even think it was 100% Thibs.
I don't think he wanted to be in the post.
Which is really
I think
bizarre.
he was scared of Clint Capella.
I don't know. D Rose was the best player on that freaking Wolves team. He shot 51% for the series. 15
That's
points
the
a
worst
game.
part.
But that, I
He
was going to
shot-
say
that's
that's
the worst
a guaranteed
freaking part.
loss.
That
He
was-
shot 70%.
Did
from three.
Thibodeau think it was like 6 years ago?
But think
like
about it, it was
2012,
Thibs
2013?
series has always been. Think about him in 2014 when they had Nate Robinson. It might be the same thing as Brad Stevens. It
Just
was
run the point guard.
run the point. It was a
And
point
Jeff
guard
Teague's
offense.
his point guard. And, he's
And
like,
they had Cat spot up. It wasn't that there was no plays for Cat to sit in the paint. It was him spotting up from
so
three.
turn Wiggins and Jeff Teague into Russell Westbrook and just call it a day.
Yes.
So that was that series. Golden State Warriors won 4-1 against the Spurs. It
That
should have
game-
been a sweep.
It should have been a sweep, and yeah,
and Golden State is who we
I
talked
just
about.
want to name how many people were terrible
Okay, please.
because I wrote a list.
And then we'll move on, but yes.
Tony Parker was terrible. Manu Ginobili was terrible. Pau Gasol was terrible. And Danny Green was terrible. All
It's-
of them averaged less than 8 points per game in the series.
it's almost like they're going up against the best team in the league.
But collectively, they cost $65 million.
That's not as bad as I thought.
It's really bad, though.
I mean, you're hitting Tony Parker
mean,
at the tail end.
so
Manu's at
You have
the
to
end of
convince
his
Tony
career.
Parker and Manu to retire. Pau is not backing out of $16 million a year.
No.
And Danny Green's making $14 a year right now. But
I think
he's been rumored to leave,
Right.
which doesn't make any sense.
Because Danny Green and Pop have kind of that weird relationship.
where
Everyone has.
Danny is the
one.
only one that doesn't like Pop. for whatever reason. But like he's only averaging 4 points a game for the series. Like that was
Pathetic.
pathetic.
It was. I thought it was going.
the Warriors.
I'm pretty sure I said that the Spurs could take a game. I'm pretty sure I said 5.
I don't remember what I said. I think I said probably 6 because a lot of these series I said in 6, which is probably the safe bet.
It's a safe bet.
I said one of them was a sweep. Either the Rockets were going to sweep or Golden State was, and the other was going to give up a game. Overall, my first round predictions were fire.
Right.
Moving on to round 2 matchups. So many great series. We're going to start with the Toronto Raptors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, the 1-4. And Cleveland stole the first game last night.
Let's go.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys and our listeners.
Jason's a blog boy.
I'm a blog boy. Shut up. But yes. No, so I have 2 daughters, and they're both really, really sick right now. And I was getting my ass kicked all day yesterday from like 6 a.m. on. I fell asleep with like 4 minutes left in this game, and I'm not talking overtime. The shame, the disappointment, I can't even express it. So guys, you guys are going to lead the way. Lucas, what happened? How did Toronto blow this? Because early on, they looked pretty good.
I think I have 2 main reasons. Well, 3. 3 reasons why the Raptors really lost this in the end. First is Valanciunas fell apart. At one point, he was the best player out on the court for a very long
He
stretch
shot
of
1 for 7 in the 4th.
Right, he was the best player throughout the entire game. He was getting every single board. He was out manning Kevin Love every single time. It felt like he was getting putbacks. I think he averaged 20 boards.
He got 21 rebounds.
21 rebounds. He was absolutely killing the entire game. And then when it mattered the most, Valanciunas could not get a tip in to save his entire freaking life. And I think it was just like Raptor fans were like, oh my God, Valanciunas is finally the center we thought he was going to be. And then it finally happened where it was, oh, this is Valanciunas again. You can't get a bunny 6-inch tip in. And he had like 4 chances many times to get this bucket. That was the first thing that came to mind was Valanciunas really fell apart when it mattered. The second thing was DeMar DeRozan, though he shot well and apparently had a good game quietly. I thought it was very quiet.
It was extremely quiet because
there were many times where I was
one
like,
of those like box score good games.
Yeah, it was a box score good game where it was
he got
like
22. I mean, he shot 20 times.
It feels like he got like 11 points in the first and then got like 5 in the second, maybe 5 in the third. But it really felt like when it mattered the most, where was your best player taking the shots? Like, I don't care if DeMar went like 0 for 4 or 1 for 4. Like, I don't care what it was in the fourth quarter. DeMar needed to take every single one of these shots because there has to be the guy on every
Right.
team.
Look at almost every other Western Conference successful team. James Harden's going to keep shooting.
He's going to
matter.
shoot. It doesn't matter anymore.
Donovan Mitchell, a rookie, is going to keep shooting.
Mitchell's
Doesn't
going
matter.
to shoot.
Lord knows Westbrook's going to keep shooting. I mean, you can just go
Westbrook's
down
gonna
the
shoot.
line. Like,
See, that's what I appreciate the most is there's one guy on every team that wants to put like, I don't care, maybe I'm not the most skilled guy, but I'm gonna take this shot.
yep.
DeMar wasn't that. That was eye opening to me.
I'm not sure why I jumped to Western Conference comparisons. Let the record show.
But then LeBron was LeBron. And there was something incredibly insane about watching him last night, except for him insisting on taking fadeaway threes in the last 3 minutes
shot
of the
1
game.
for 8 from 3.
Yeah, no, that was really ridiculous.
I'll tell you a worse stat. He shot 1 for 6 from the free throw line.
I don't know though.
He missed 5 straight.
That was bad.
He missed 5 straight.
That was terrible. But do you remember watching the game last night with 2 minutes left and LeBron isn't driving? He's dribbling. He's trying to like square up the guy, and all he does was jack a 3. He probably did that 3 times in the last 3 minutes. He wasted possessions, and I was like, just drive. You're bigger and stronger and more skilled than any of these players on the Raptors. Why can't you post someone up?
And honestly, that was throughout the game. I mean,
Yeah, he was jacking threes.
early on, I had made a note that he had so many opportunities, like one-on-one opportunities, to blow past, what's that dude's name? OG?
Oh,
OG Anunoby.
Anunoby.
Yeah.
Anunoby.
And instead, I mean, he's just settling.
Yeah.
Which, again, we sung his praises earlier. I feel like I don't need to do that again. But yeah, I mean, take it to the rim, man.
Just drive him.
47 minutes. LeBron played 47 minutes last night.
I think he's tired. I definitely think he's tired.
I think he was like, I need the ball in my hands in the last shot, and it almost backfired. But then it went into a Van Fleet 3, which
Van Fleet played terribly last night.
he shot 2 for 7, 1 for 5 from the 3.
Yeah, but two of those
threes were game winners.
The game winner shots that Van Fleet got and totally bricked. Like, they weren't even close.
That last possession by LeBron was one of the ugliest possessions I've seen.
Yeah.
He calls for like a pick. He moves. He pump fakes. DeMar bites on it. He tries to draw the foul and just kind of throws it at the rim to make it seem like it was a 3. And it wasn't. Raptors get the ball. They have 16 seconds left. Come on, LeBron. You got to do better than that. I mean, he almost hit the game winner in the fourth quarter.
And I feel like herein lies the difference between him and Jordan. And it's not that Jordan made every shot, in the fourth quarter. It's not that he made every
smarter
last
shots.
second. You really didn't see him brick. You really didn't, and you certainly never saw him go 1 for 6 from the free throw line. So anyone that ever wants to elevate today's best player, who is hands down LeBron James, into the same stratosphere as Michael Jordan, and even so egregiously say he's better, you're wrong.
He's definitely not better. What really hurt me was because he hit the game winner against the Pacers. He was inches away from hitting the game winner tonight, though. Last night.
It was so close. It was
I thought he had it.
It was an off-footed fadeaway,
not balanced at all, and he just chucked it.
He just chucked it, and it looked good.
He's so strong, he can do it.
Yeah, he just flicks his wrist.
All right, tell me the next top 2 scorers on the Cavs.
Kyle Korver and J.R. Smith.
Yeah,
I would have said Korver. I definitely would not have said J.R. Smith.
Korver hit 5 threes.
J.R. Smith killed it.
J.R. Smith was 5 for 6 from 3.
See, but that's what worries me.
Korver should have had 7 threes. He stepped on the line twice.
So the game, I think I know where you're going. The game was this close, and that's what you got out of your role players.
Right. So, like,
Kevin Love shot 3 for 13.
But you can't. You can bank on Kyle Korver making like 3 threes a game. Right? That's fine. That's his job. That's what he gets paid.
That's all they need, though.
But you can't bank on J.R. Smith doing J.R. Smith stuff. And you have to say, Kevin Love, where are you? Where is the superstar?
He's making mental health commercials.
See, I knew this would be terrible. It always.
Yeah, I said it about DeMar last night.
When he got fouled. You made he's sad.
I was like,
see, this is exactly
what a sad little boy. And I was
this will come back to bite you.
Mine was a statement of fact.
He was being mean.
I was being mean because it was the Kevin Love gets the rebound and he's holding the ball in his hands. He's getting attacked from every angle, and he's spinning to get people off. And he spins one time and hits DeMar in the face.
Oh my god!
Which it was a brutal elbow to the face.
I guess it was a foul. In the end, at the time, I was really defending Kevin Love. Like, okay, when you get the ball, you're allowed to pivot. You're allowed to defend your zone. You also aren't allowed to use your zone as an attack mechanism.
But
in
Kevin Love's defense, Kevin Love's height. He's 2 to 4 inches taller than DeMar.
That's the reality, but the actual NBA rules and the officiating, if you hit someone in the face, pretty much under any circumstance,
they're just going to call it.
Yeah, and that looked really brutal, though. Like, his whole jaw went, like, off to the side. It was such a bad hit. It hurt so much. Is this series going to turn out into, like, Kevin Love has his mental problems and DeMar
who's least depressed? Who's least depressed in the NBA? Kevin Love or DeMar DeRozan?
Oh no. We're going off on a bad tangent.
It's not that though. It's LeBron James. LeBron James is the king
and Jason
of the
Stoltz
world.
Is uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable right now. Do you need a safe room? Do you need to go
Cavs versus Raptors? Who's more sad?
Oh my god.
I think the Raptors are. They blew their home court advantage in Game 1 against LeBron James and George Hill.
I don't know.
George Hill's their starting point guard. You have Jordan Clarkson out there taking these threes that
underlying
sidestep threes. Jordan Clarkson. I almost cried.
Yeah, it was really bad. I think the underlying story that I thought about last night when I got home was Ibaka has really regressed into
I don't know if it's
really sad kind of
I don't know if it's more.
It makes me sad thinking that Ibaka's not the
regressed physically or regressed in terms of his
production. I was thinking.
I think it's more of That game, they wanted Valanciunas. Valanciunas is bigger. He's going to get inside. And he was showing the worth
So you
there.
think it was like a matchup thing? Like
I think it was a matchup thing. Like,
he
he had to stay in the corner. He had to just
stretch
pull Jeff Green out there.
But
which
why?
is-
Why couldn't you clog?
or
the paint?
Tristan.
Why couldn't
Yeah.
you clog the paint with Ibaka and Valanciunas? Like that's
I
the
just,
matchup.
I
that
just
you
think it's
want,
one of those
right?
things where you want to spread it enough so DeMar can get in. He can take his mid-range jumpers.
Is then it's Valanciunas.
Like, I think that was
one-on-one.
the Raptors should have won this game. They should.
I mean, they had
Absolutely.
They were leading for 48 minutes.
They had a ridiculous amount of opportunities. to finish this game
48
out.
minutes and 37 seconds in a basketball game they led for, and they lost it.
At the end of the first quarter, maybe with 3 minutes
Oh, yeah.
left, LeBron comes out of the game, and the camera just keeps going back to LeBron as the Raptors just expand the lead. Hit another shot.
It was
Get another defensive stop.
It
And
never-
you just see on LeBron's face, he's like, oh my God. This
He was-
team can do nothing without me.
He was pissed, but it also didn't look like he was ever worried. Because in the first half, he didn't really shoot. He was just kind of running the ball through. He'd take
Which
a few shots.
infuriated me.
Which,
whole
yeah,
time.
made me mad because it was like, but then he did it in the fourth. He was like, this is my game. And then LeBron took over, and all of a sudden they're tied. And you're like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
How did this happen?
How did this happen? And then he goes for the game-winning shot, which he doesn't make. But, I mean, it was a good look.
It was a good look.
How
It
do
was
you
wide
guys see this series playing out?
It's going to 6 or 7.
I think it's going to go to 7. I think you're going to see LeBron play like 2 games like he played against the Pacers, where there are those really funny videos where LeBron is actually just standing on the other side of the court. Like a fast break happens and he just stares like, it doesn't matter if I run back. It doesn't matter anything. Like they're going to score no matter if I sit here or not. Because his team is so bad.
the
I think
defense is so bad on this team.
This is going to be the biggest challenge he's ever had in his career. Like it doesn't matter anything
It's
else.
been a decade since he's
Can-
had as bad of a squad.
Because-
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, his first time around, with the
Ilgauskas,
Cavs,
it was like Drew Gooden.
Boobie Gibson.
Oh my god!
But I feel like
That
that's
was-
different because that was a different era of LeBron. That was when everybody loved him. That was when he was the golden boy.
But-
and then he went to Miami, and he had expectations of Jordan. I don't think he had the expectations quite as
So-
Jordan-esque in 08.
Right, he wasn't there. He was only 5
in
years in the league.
2011, 2012, 2013, this was like, all
You
right,
need
I'm
to
going to be
win.
the GOAT, and this is my run to be the GOAT, and this is the tail end, basically. This is the hardest challenge in his GOAT
in
achievement.
his
Like,
pri- in his
he's gonna
prime,
pull,
which
like,
could
a-
last another 5 years.
if-
Lucas
before.
just gave me goosebumps.
Like, if LeBron brings them to the finals, which I hope doesn't
We
happen,
were talking
because
about
I
this.
bet on the Sixers.
Same.
If he makes it, like, I don't know what happened. He has like a Jerry West career of going to the finals like 11 straight times, 9 straight times, or something. You can't
yeah,
knock it. At some point, it's just like
Right.
it's untouchable. Like the entirety of me watching professional basketball, I've only seen LeBron James in the finals. Like this is all I've ever known. Like what's
Yeah,
going to
for
happen when
the-
LeBron's gone? I don't know.
I'm gonna have to see other players. Like I don't understand.
I
This.
don't
Like,
get
I
it.
have a player, I
And then I'm
hate, so
going to be
root for
really
the-
frustrated that the
I
best
rooted for the
team in
Mavs,
league
the
doesn't have
Spurs, the-
LeBron James on it. Like
I'm really happy I've seen other players and teams in the finals.
I've like,
But it does not speak to the fact since 2011 when we really got into basketball.
Wait, you and Lucas.
Yeah, when Lucas and I got into basketball, LeBron James has been there.
he's always
LeBron
been there.
with different teams, with different players. Like if he makes it this year,
This
that
is
might
gonna
be
the
like
biggest- this is a huge achievement.
I agree. I
if he
completely
okay.
agree.
So Philly's gonna win the Celtics series, no
It's
doubt
gonna
about
happen.
it. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
I have the
Unless Ben
same
Simmons
like
and
idea
Joel
right now when Miami won Game 2 of the last series, and I was like, oh,
I don't-
maybe it'll be a close series now. But like for whatever reason, I just feel like
Philly's gonna
overpower
win.
them.
Should we just jump ahead to that series?
I think so. I think
All right,
Is
so,
the game
so
tonight?
who are you
Philly?
guys picking for the
Sixers, Boston.
Toronto-Cleveland series?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm picking Cavs in 7.
Cavs in 7. I think that's like a safe bet too.
I'm going Cavs in 7.
Because I think LeBron.
It's what I would have chosen before last night. Also, I can honestly say.
No, but last night changed my entire mind because I was like, I didn't think they could really like this Cavs team is bad.
They are.
But LeBron.
That's the thing, and I said that in the first series. I was like, oh, LeBron James.
LeBron's the second best player of all time.
I agree with that.
If
I really do
If
at
he
this point.
wins this series,
It doesn't matter what he's already the second best player of all time.
no, I mean just me.
I would love to argue
I would
like
say-
Kareem versus LeBron, but like
I don't know.
It's for a different podcast.
it's a different podcast.
It's a different entire podcast.
No, but I mean I get it.
I don't. I'm gonna go Raptors in 7.
All right, a little intrigue.
Because I don't. There's no reason. I just don't want to be the same.
All
as
right,
you
let's
guys.
talk Sixers for the next hour.
45 minutes of Philadelphia. Did you watch that hype video?
What hype video?
Oh my.
so
okay,
good.
okay. But Will Smith starts a hype video about Philly, just being like, "This is Philadelphia," and
Okay.
pretty much at the end, it's like the Fresh Prince is here, and it's Ben Simmons.
Yeah, the entire hype video is just surrounded around Ben Simmons being like the second coming.
So we were talking about it last night. I want the Cavs to not win because my true hatred for LeBron. But if it's the Cavs versus Philly in the Eastern Conference Finals, LeBron versus the next coming of LeBron,
Next LeBron?
like I'm gonna be so excited. But I mean, obviously, I want Philly to win it.
Could you
'cause
imagine though that series like
Joel
Embiid would just
Embiid
eat
going-
everybody alive?
wind.
The roof is going to collapse.
So game one was a disappointment as a Sixers fan,
That was a huge surprise.
but
I almost bet on the Celtics because they were the underdogs at home.
yeah, I mean, I believe the Sixers will win the series. That hasn't changed whatsoever. Obviously, am I a little less confident? Sure. But I'm not surprised that
be-
the Celtics stole game one, and I'm not that disheartened. And it's for several reasons.
Are you not disheartened though? But they didn't have Jaylen Brown either. They're arguably best to second best player.
I think the Celtics have proven they can be the Celtics with or without a lot
I mean,
of
you're in
players.
TD Garden. That home court is ridiculous, and Philly's got an incredible home court.
For sure. So, I mean, the Celtics will not shoot that well again in this entire series. There's 0% chance. They
just
won't
shot
shoot that well
incredible.
again. Philly, from 3, won't shoot that poorly again this entire series. And-
they might shoot that poorly one more time.
Okay.
It is
maybe one more
something
time.
Philly has done where they've a game or two they're just like, we're not shooting so well.
What this game really
Covington.
highlighted, Covington, exactly,
Damn, Covington.
is Covington can sink the ship so hard. It's not even funny.
So I wonder, like, and I almost wonder this is like the point because he gets open and they're like, all right, he's just off, and I don't understand because he was so hot all year. It's to the point like they paid him because of this year. Like
yeah,
he got on fire.
he got his contract. What, like maybe
Midway.
a third,
Yeah.
midway through the
yeah,
year.
they were just like, oh, Covington, you're fabulous. And then I don't think it's because he got the contract, but
No.
there's something wrong. I mean, Dario shot 0 for 4. Covington shot 0 for 6. Dario shot 0 for 4 from 3. Covington didn't make a single bucket. And I'm almost like, you get the ball from the 3, can you just drive? I mean, the more efficient shot is to take the 3. But
But if it's not falling,
it's the second time in the playoffs so far, Covington's just disappeared.
game 2 against the Heat
When they lost.
was the combination of Dwayne Wade just going supernova
Right.
and Robert Covington just, I mean, shooting the Sixers out of the game.
So another thing is, I mean, JJ Redick was playing fantastic. He scored 20 points. Ben Simmons, though, can you win with Ben Simmons getting 7 turnovers and only 6 assists?
And so he had a bad game.
He had a bad game.
I think the biggest
and
thing-
Joel Embiid dominated.
Right. Maybe,
31 and okay, so
right, so Embiid dominated.
And I'm telling you, this is when the box score lies. And I know you guys both watched it too.
Well, okay.
So I'm not saying you didn't watch it, but to me, that box score, yes, I mean, it sounds great. It looks great. When
Al Horford crushed him.
when I watched the game, I didn't feel like Embiid dominated.
So Jason Tatum's not going to get 12 free throws every single game. That's just not going to happen.
But I think this whole game really needs to rely on, I don't know if it's coaching, but it kind of felt like it because the bench really didn't step up.
I think both.
When your bench only makes 5 buckets the entirety of a game, like, I don't care if Embiid dropped 40 or 30 or
they dropped 5,
even if he dropped
5 buckets
50.
between 2 players.
Right, I'm saying like you need a collective unit, and that's why they beat the Heat. They beat the Heat because Ilyasova, Bellinelli, TJ McConnell, they all played really well, and they played as a unit. This game, they just didn't feel together.
So one thing that I believe it was the Bill Simmons podcast, they were talking about it. Just play Simmons off of Marcus Smart on defense. Let Marcus Smart shoot threes. Who cares? Like he may score 9 points off that. But he took 8 threes that game. He made 2. Let him do that. The whole series, whatever. He gets 6 points.
Yeah,
It is-
And then Ben Simmons can roam. He can play defense off Jason Tatum cutting. He can play defense off Al Horford. He
Kind
can
of play
double.
passing lanes a little more.
Yeah, he can play off of it. And I thought that I was like, wow, that is incredibly smart because, I mean, look at Ben Simmons. He was negative 21. JJ Redick was plus 0, and he scored 20 points. Like, there's something that was going on.
But Redick got torched on defense.
And that's the thing is, like, Redick is good on offense, but you have to hide him on defense, which you hide him with Ben Simmons. Like, Ben Simmons is going to cover.
I think the Sixers need to put out better lineups for this matchup. I don't think we can use the lineups that have worked necessarily throughout the season or in the Heat series. I think we need to actually figure out what lineups are going to work for us in this specific series.
I think this game was like almost an asterisk just off of Covington missing every single
Dude, I
shot.
hear you. I don't disagree.
I want to completely agree on that, but at the same time, the Sixers only went 7 deep. There was only like their 8th guy was TJ McConnell. And he played 6 minutes. Like
We need TJ McConnell to hassle the shit out of Scary Terry.
it has to be. You have to dedicate
Shout out
one
Kurt.
guy, play some sort of junk D, and just make Scary Terry
like,
give up the ball.
Ilyasova not going to miss every single 3. Like, it's not every single game. He's going to hit a 3.
Really, every single time the Celtics go on
It was a
offense,
statistical aberration.
you should have
The whole
only
game was.
3
It
people
was.
that your
But-
brain should go around, right? Horford,
Yep.
it should be Tatum, and then it should be Rozier because everything goes through Rozier, then it goes through Horford. If you collapse those 2 guys, make a rookie shoot. Make
Make
Jaylen Brown be
Make
the best
Marcus
player on
Morris
the team.
shoot, who is apparently a GOAT apparently now because Marcus Morris is fantastic. I don't know why. Marcus Morris has been playing incredibly well this playoff.
He's hustling incredibly, but if you make him shoot, he's gonna screw up.
You know what I'd like to see?
I
I'd
don't-
really like to see Embiid in the game when Horford isn't. I'd like to see
I don't
Brett
think
Brown.
Brad Stevens will ever let that happen. Like you,
So-
need,
Well, Brett Brown needs to initiate that. Though.
Right,
You
no,
know what I
you
mean?
need
Like
to
maybe
strategize
don't
with
start Embiid.
do whatever it takes
So
To
so
get-
Embiid
get-
gets the mismatch on Aaron Baines. Like,
Right.
Embiid is gonna manhandle this Aaron Baines guy.
And he did, but then when Horford was playing and he had to follow him out,
Right.
it didn't look good.
See, Horford is an incredible player. He's so good, and the box score will never show how good.
Oh, the box
Horford
score
is.
does show how good he is.
I mean, he played
if you
like
look,
at
okay,
18
so
and 8 or whatever for like the last series. He averaged 18 and 8.
you look at the plus
He's a
minus.
great player, but I don't think it shows everything. is
You
what
look at
I'm
the plus minus of the starting 5 of the Philly. Okay, Darius Saric minus 20, Covington minus 13, Embiid who dropped 31 and 13 minus 6,
That's what I'm saying.
Ben Simmons minus 21. JJ Redick was the only one who was even. He just hit 0. You ready for the Celtics? Al Horford plus 18, Jason Tatum plus 18, Baines and Smart. Baines was minus 1, Smart plus 1, Terry Rozier plus 17. The starting 5 of the Celtics outperformed the
Well, yeah, I
Sixers.
mean, it's a plus minus works.
Yeah, but the fact is,
It's just science.
Terry Rozier is not going to hit 7 for 9 from 3 every game. He's
Well,
not.
Yeah, they have to guard him. Like there were like half those shots he was just kind of open for. And I don't know if it was JJ Redick or Simmons. I don't think Simmons was on Terry the whole time. I assume it was JJ Redick guarding him, but that has to change.
I'm hyped for tomorrow.
I really am.
I
too.
cannot wait.
This is probably going to be my favorite series because the Celtics just grind.
Yep.
They grind these games out. They had the best defense in the regular season, and without 3 of their best players, they beat the Sixers. Because I mean, we count Gordon Hayward, we count Kyrie Irving,
Like
right?
the NBA
and they didn't.
darling Sixers.
And
Come
then
on.
Jaylen Brown. Like they didn't have Jaylen Brown this game. If they had Jaylen Brown, I'm scared to think what happened to Philly because they just might lose by even more.
Predictions.
Philly in 6.
Philly in 7.
Ooh.
Philly in 5.
The problem with 7.
I think Philly wins the next 4 games.
The problem with 7 is they have to win a game
Another
7
game,
in
Boston.
TD Garden. In
See-
game 7.
My only problem is that Boston might have whatever same strategy
just-
that they had over the Bucks and whatever, just mentally break them down, bring them to game 7, and then Brett Brown's like, guys, like Embiid, you were this big. Simmons, you
I'm just
were
saying, like,
this
as a
talented.
podcast,
Like,
we
just
should
do
go
it.
to a game.
Podcast game.
Podcast game.
I'm down. In Boston, obviously.
In
It's a
Boston.
lot closer. Is it even
Yeah.
that much closer?
It's 5 hours to 7 hours drive.
No, negligible.
Negligible.
And I've got Philly Connects.
You got Philly Connect. We could get free room and board.
Yeah. Oh, my brother's place is fly.
All right, we're going to a game, guys.
All right, Kyle.
Game
we're
4.
coming-
Game 4.
Yes, game 4. Western Conference. Houston Rockets are up 1-0 on the Jazz.
This makes me sad that Ricky Rubio's out. Because I think this series could have been a little bit better.
Is he out for the series?
He could be.
They said he was out for 10 games when the injury first came out.
I think they'll
honestly
just-
don't know.
I think they'll
how
just
much
call it.
different this series would have resulted. I think the gameplay would have been great. I think
I still think
collectively as a
Houston would've
defensive
won,
unit,
but-
I think it's inevitable. Whatever series that Harden plays in, he's going to play 2 really bad games.
Yep.
One game in which CP3 is going to bail him out. So I think best case scenario, Utah steals a game. Just
Best
off
case
of
scenario.
best case scenario, they steal a game just off of Harden doing terribly, and CP3 being like, well, I'm not James Harden. I can't just control the entire game. So, I mean, you'll see a great game by CP3 getting like 25 and 12, but the whole team isn't together and they lose. And maybe Donovan Mitchell drops 35. There's nothing about this Houston team that tells me they can steal more games than one.
You mean the Jazz team.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Utah.
The thing is that, so Donovan Mitchell played 39 minutes, but he's playing as the primary ball handler.
Now
right
he has to, right?
And that's where Ricky Rubio comes in hand, because Ricky Rubio is the savant on offense, and you like that word.
Oh, that's a good word.
SAT vocab, baby. He is something that
How avant-garde of you.
you didn't see it coming. You guys are so flustered right now. But he is running this offense, and you have Donovan Mitchell now, who is the primary scorer, having to hold the ball, where he could run around, he could hide off, he could, pick and pop out.
A nuanced point.
Nuance play, yeah, exactly.
Very good.
But now you have James Harden, you have Chris Paul coming out there. Trevor Ariza is going to be on him. I mean, Donovan shot 9 for 22. Not fantastic. Scored 21 points. It's just something Ricky Rubio could have fixed. This could have been so it was 110 to 96.
Ricky Rubio will be back, though. It's not like a season-ending injury. He'll be back, for Game 4. You know what I mean?
But that could be the end of the
they
series.
could sweep him. But
Yeah, that's the difference, though. If they had him back, say, Game 2, he gets...
So does Ricky
Oh.
Rubio add 1 win to the series?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, so, okay.
They would win Game 3 with Ricky
But
Rubio.
also, the Jazz are better than the Timberwolves. If the Wolves can, I know it's not like apples
think-
to apples to say this, but if the Wolves can steal a game, I think the
But-
Jazz can steal 2.
Think about the Timberwolves.
They could.
A month and a half ago, we had them all 3 of us had them as the 3 seed.
Yep.
They were the 3rd best team in the West.
And
in
we
our
had them
eyes.
as a deserving 3.
a deserving, because
We had a healthy
until
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler,
Right.
yeah. So then when Jimmy Butler came back, he was probably 75% back.
Yeah, he wasn't 100%.
He was not 100%. No way. I was watching the first half of this Jazz Rockets game. Rudy Gobert was just getting torched inside. I think they shot 80% against Gobert.
Which is, I think
But is that
that's-
sustainable?
that has to be an aberration. That can't happen every game.
But what happened was the switches. So then James Harden would get on Rudy Gobert, and that's just not fair.
That's why I don't think
James Harden's out on the 3. He's gonna dance on him, and 2 steps later, Rudy Gobert's still at the 3, and James Harden's at the bucket.
I'm just so confused why switching has to happen for the Rockets. When you play the Rockets, why do you have to switch? Why can't you just? Why
Because
does
everyone
Rudy
can
Gobert
hit
have
a
to
3,
switch?
except for maybe PJ Tucker.
But none of them hit him at a 40% clip. It's like Eric Gordon.
No, they
was
all
touted as
jack up threes,
They
but,
jack them.
but they're not the best 3
Yeah, they all shoot around 35%, which is a good percentage. It's not even remotely.
But the
elite.
thing is, they'll
No.
shoot
They just shoot so
40
many of
threes a
them.
game.
But don't you have to? I
But
feel
they'll
like at some
make
point,
16.
But I feel like you have to bank on, okay, if you do the switch, then you have a bad defensive player on James Harden. If you don't switch, then that's not an issue. Then you're forcing James Harden to drive,
So-
and then you have Rudy Gobert or whoever the other.
So
wing
Eric
is
Gordon had a really
switching
bad
out.
game. He shot 0 for 6. Still got 7 points. They're going to get threes. They're going to get to the free throw line, which is just silly. I mean, they shot 53% for 3. the Rockets.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen every game. That happens every,
But that's
10 games.
that's the Rockets system. I wouldn't even say 10 games. That happen every 3-4 games that they're
They
shooting.
don't shoot 50.
Not 50, but they're going to shoot 40. They're going to make
80.
16 threes. They average it. They're going to make that.
Sure, and then you'll have the game where Harden goes like,
2 for 16.
yeah,
He goes 2 for 16, and then you have the game where he played against
and
the
that's how it all
Jazz.
averages.
Then
out.
they go to the Jazz where he shoots 7 for 12 from 3.
I don't know. I
think
don't
this-
trust
this-
Harden, and I don't trust the Rockets, especially if
I don't think
when
I
they
would-
advance to the Warriors. I don't trust them.
And that's the thing is, like, the Warriors last night, we'll get to that game. They're still really freaking good.
Yeah,
They're a lot better than I care for this Rockets team. Thank you. Chris Paul, James Harden. So Chris Paul scored 17. Capella scored 16. PJ Tucker scored 15. He hit threes. That's impressive. That is an anomaly. But then you have James Harden. James Harden is the best ISO player in the league right now. Just clearly dominating. I don't think Utah can get through this without Ricky Rubio sooner than later.
I mean, unfortunately, just for viewing interest,
It would have been a
Both-
great
both-
series with Ricky Rubio back.
great. I don't know. For me,
It would have been to 6.
I think it's been a foregone conclusion for the last 6 months
That
that
was
we were
gonna be
going to see
Rockets-Warriors.
Rockets-Warriors. And it's what we're going to see. I look forward to hopefully seeing Donovan Mitchell carry the Jazz to a win or two. Like, I would love to see him display even more greatness.
Right.
But aside from that, I don't find this series too intriguing.
No, I'm kind of
Utah's, the altitude, the home crowd, they'll win at least one at home.
I think they win game 3. If
I think-
game 4 for Rubio's back, maybe.
Yeah.
But
But they're not, you know what, though? They're not going to win 2 consecutive ones in Utah.
Houston wants to just. Houston will be fine with 5-game series.
Yep.
Like, they're not the Warriors. They're not like, all right, let's sweep. They just kind of like, we'll get our game. Like, we go 6 for 25, 6 for 30
Yeah, I don't even
from
think
3.
that's Harden's mentality.
They're
I
just
think
like,
it's
okay,
Harden.
we're fine. We're going to get there. Like, we have home court the entire time. We just win at home.
Well, and with their style of play, it is harder to sustain greatness on like a night-to-night basis in the sense that, like we talked about before, their ISO-heavy style of play leads to when one of their 2 best players has a really bad night,
They're screwed.
they're probably going to lose.
Right.
Conversely, Golden State Warriors, you can have a player, maybe 2 of your top 3 or 4 players play poorly, and still have a real fighting chance to win. So, do we all do predictions on this one? I think
I'd
we did
Rockets in
early
5.
in this
I
discussion.
think we all had 5.
I think we think if Rubio's back, the Jazz can take 1.
One game, I think, is their max.
Yeah.
I think I said maybe 6, but
Yeah, I think you said maybe 6.
no, 5 for like my prediction.
Right.
All right, Pelicans, Golden State Warriors. It's the only series so far where 2 games have been played. Pelicans are down 0-2. The brow is staring defeat right in the face.
He kind of looked. He really looked
This-
demoralized.
this series
last
was
night, though, because
BS.
he's
Last
not
night.
getting any calls.
They didn't. They shot 9 free throws. The whole game.
The whole team shot 9 free throws. Like Drew and Anthony Davis both shot 20 plus times and didn't attempt a free throw. It's kind of disgusting. There was one play during the game where Draymond, like AD and Draymond went to the floor. AD put his hands up like, all right, Draymond, get off me. Like, I'm not going to draw a foul. Draymond started stepping up. Anthony Davis was like, okay, I'll turn and stand back up. Draymond hooked his leg, flipped Anthony Davis's leg over, and AD was looking at the ref like, what is happening? And then Draymond shoved AD back to the ground. And I was like, and then Draymond just like walks off. And I'm like, what,
Draymond-
how much leash does this guy have to do whatever he wants? It's almost like the Seahawks, where when the Seahawks were in their prime, like
No one
12
everyone
men, it
just
was
accepted.
you play as dirty and you foul as much as humanly possible
But just
because they're
don't-
not going to call everything.
They're not going to call it.
Because the league doesn't want 45 fouls in a basketball game. They want to watch. They'll accept 20. You know, they're not gonna call a whistle every time
See,
Draymond
they're-
hacks a guy or flips a guy.
They're
or
okay with
whatever.
36 fouls as long as 27 free throws are going the Warriors' way.
I really-
27-9.
I think
That's
Draymond has
stupid.
gotten way too much leverage over the league right now. I don't know why it is. I don't know why they gave it to him. And it's
Because
it's
he's on a
swaying this-
championship contending team.
And when
That's
I
it.
watch the series and you watch Anthony Davis, it's like, why is Anthony Davis being like bodied by Draymond right now? And
So explain to me specifically what you're saying. Are you saying that this is potentially
Oh, the
like,
league.
league directed?
I think it's being an Oracle. Game 2 in Oracle. It's one of those series where it's like, we're gonna favor the home team because they do. Everyone knows it. You can see it in the free throw like margins. If Anthony Davis is not taking a single free throw and he took 24 shots, there's something wrong because the man is in the paint. He is going for it every single time. I mean, he takes some. He took 3 threes. 21 shots were inside the arc. I have a hard time believing not a single one of them he got fouled on.
I don't know. I'm just kind of frustrated with the whole Warriors thing. I'm kind of over it. Like,
Which was funny because we were
when I was
on the.
over the Miami Heat dynasty. I'm just over whatever the Warriors are doing right now. I'm just over it. I'm over.
But it was
Draymond,
just
I'm
Kevin
over
Durant
Klay.
being there is it. Kevin Durant going to the Warriors ruined the Warriors.
I don't know. Draymond was
Yes.
teetering.
No.
Draymond
no.
was teetering me.
Teetering, yeah, he could piss you off, but it's almost like a Dennis Rodman on the Bulls.
right.
I
If
would
we
probably
were
have hated
alive
Dennis
for
Rodman.
Dennis Rodman,
I would
on
have
the Bulls,
hated.
we would have hated him.
beer. I would have
I
hated.
loved Dennis Rodman.
See, we would have been like, you Dennis Rodman,
But I
like,
do
you're
hate
like-
Draymond Green.
Yeah, you hate Draymond
Okay.
because of what?
Draymond. Who was Lambeer? I can't remember his name. The
Bill.
guy that- Bill
Bill
Lambier.
Bill Lambier on
I
the
would've
Pistons.
hated him, too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but he was like,
He was.
but that
He
Pistons
started all this. Like, he started Dennis Rodman. He started Draymond Green. It's like the whole.
I mean, they beat
Giant
the
D-bag.
Bulls, so like they figured it out.
I mean, I think Jordan was like a rookie. Anyway.
They figured out the Jordan problem pretty fast.
So here's what I want to ask you guys. How do the Pelicans make this a series? Because
They go home.
if you really look at the dreaded box score,
I'm looking at it.
Anthony Davis, solid game. Drew Holiday, solid game. Rondo showed up. Mirotic. I mean, we're talking.
Yeah, but you say
we're talking
solid game, but they
25,
didn't take a single
24,
free throw.
22 and 18.
This is the thing.
Mirotic killed it last game.
Miracic's
though.
fantastic.
And
He's been-
Clay,
shot 4
Shot
for 20.
4 for 20.
Blaze it, kids.
God. I think. I
It's
honestly don't know what they have to do.
they have to get fouls. They have
either
that
have to
it is
step
it.
up on D
It's
or-
a five.
So really, it's that
it's
simple
a
for you.
5-point game.
So they have to get to the line.
Anthony Davis gets 10 free throw attempts,
I think
or
they have
Anthony
to-
Davis and Drew get 10 together. They win the game.
Somehow they have to. Put
I don't know, they
AD
go-
in a corner.
They go to
They have to stop AD because Clay apparently has a bad game every 3 or 4 games in a series. So Clay's gonna. You have
and then
to
he has a
gamble.
game where he goes 60 points in like 3 quarters.
I mean, that only happened once. But Clay,
Yeah, but it's a
Clay has to. Clay will have one good game, right? He'll have one elite game, and then he'll have the rest average games, and then he'll have 1 or 2 very bad games.
So
So you have to bank on Clay having a bad game. Then you have to stop Durant, and then you really have to bank on Draymond always being terrible on offense.
okay, I think we're missing the major point though. Steph Curry's back.
Right, Curry's back. You have to. Well, you can't double team both superstars and then leave Clay open or Draymond to do stuff in the paint. So you have to bank on one player, and I think you have to alienate Durant.
I think you can be more effective double teaming Durant than
So,
Yeah,
but the thing was,
I think it's too hard
so
to take Curry out of the game.
his handle's too good. His passing is too good.
Durant will get frustrated. He's now drawing technicals.
Drew. Okay, so Drew guarded Durant the whole series, all right, or the whole game tonight, last night. It was Durant dropped 29 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Drew got 24 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. You can live with that. That's an equal odds.
Yeah.
Drew guarding Durant, Durant guarding Drew. That's okay. You just don't have. No one can guard this Curry guy. The Steph Curry guy is
I hear he's good.
game one, first game back. 28
He's got
points.
a bright future.
28 points. This is the point where like the Pelicans had to win game 1. they had to win before Curry got back. Curry got back a game earlier.
Their better game was last night, and they closed the gap more, and Curry played.
Well, Curry's success last night really goes to one. I mean, obviously Curry just being amazing, but also Steve Kerr and that whole organization being patient and just understanding this guy is our franchise.
But
we're not going to rush him back onto the court. We're going to wait till he's effectively fully healthy.
So another interesting,
right? That's what we saw. We didn't see Jimmy Butler, him coming back for the playoffs, which that was heroic. It was great, but
it honestly probably should have sat.
Agreed. I mean,
and let the Nuggets get to the playoffs. Whatever, they're going to lose to the Rockets maybe in 5 as well. But
the Wolves' window is smaller.
I think they have the next 2 years to make a deep run.
I don't know. You're in Jimmy Butler's prime now.
So you might as well keep him super healthy.
Healthy, yeah.
But his prime could drop off in a year and a half. It could drop off next year, halfway through the season. This is the time where Jimmy Butler.
But this is the point where it's
we may have already seen his prime. To be totally honest,
prime be over.
I hope not. But
I don't think so. But that's the point of
with a serious injury under.
With a serious injury now.
Yeah, so that's the point of maybe you should have arrested him. But this is what they did with Curry. They're like, we're going to get through the first round. Curry could have played. I guarantee Curry could have played in the first round.
Oh, if it was the finals, he'd have been out there.
Yeah, if he got to games 6 and 7, they're like, fuck, we might lose this. Curry's going to play.
Right, but they didn't need.
But they didn't need to. So
he
was
have an MVP playing.
They already have an MVP, which makes me hate the Warriors so much. But the fact is, he played fantastic. He came back, shot over 50%.
So what's the point? How did the Pelicans stop the Warriors to steal games?
I don't think they can.
They can't steal a single game?
Unless so the only thing is they play like last night, play extremely efficient, and they get free throws. They just get more free throws.
They have to draw free throws, and they might at home.
They might at home because if they play the Warriors the way they did last night, shooting. Warriors only shot 32% from the 3. That's it. That's all you can do is hope that they shoot that poorly. The Warriors' offense is way too much passing, way too many people getting open looks. And the Pelicans can't guard Durant, Steph Curry, Clay, Draymond every single possession. You can't.
You have to pick and choose.
You have to pick and choose, right? Exactly.
Predictions.
Warriors in 6. I think they can steal 2 games.
I agree. I think Warriors in 6.
Anthony Davis
Warriors
is
in
a
5.
top 3 player in the league.
Warriors in 5. And that's giving Pelicans game 3.
Do you think there's a better chance of Utah stealing 2 games than Pelicans stealing 2 games?
No, Pelicans stealing 2 games over Utah.
It's a cop-out, but I think it's pretty equal, to be honest.
I think I could see that just off the base. Utah's really good defensively, and if the Rockets have one of those games where they shoot 5 for 40 from 3.
They shoot bad because they'll inevitably collectively shoot bad.
Yep.
And then Utah is great on defense.
Donovan drops 45 and just hasn't.
I feel like that's so much. It's still so much asking of Donovan Mitchell, though.
But the thing is, he's delivering.
I mean, he hasn't delivered that much. That's a huge delivery. A 45 bomb is a huge ask.
It is. It's a LeBron James-esque.
He's not.
But we already said he's not up and coming. He's not emerging.
He's there.
He is a star.
Right.
Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to subscribe. Definitely subscribe to this podcast because we bring it every week.
We're on Spotify now, guys.
Yeah.
Hop on the Spotify. Follow us. Let's go. We did it. We're big time now.
Mission accomplished. We're on Spotify.
Aye, Captain.
Make sure to download. Check us out on the Facebook. What are we on Facebook, Nick?
Sip and Swish NBA, Twitter, @Sip and Swish. We have our website, thesipandswish.com. It's playoffs, guys. We're always here for you.
Except for last week.
Except for round 1.
But we really apologize about that.
Round 2 and round 3, it's easier. There's only so many games, so we can handle this.
Less traveling, less children. Have less children.